person you were in your 20s is not the person you are in your 30s or your 40s, right? Right? Huge difference, right? In your 20s, you think you know it all. You just graduated college if you went to college, or you're finally off on your own if you're off on your own, and you know you got the world by your hands, man. You're holding the whole world in your hands, and it is yours. All you have in between you and your final day is tons of space and opportunity, and you are the one who's going to take advantage of it because you know it all. You know way more than your parents. You know way more than your teachers. You just learned so much in the last 4 years that nobody can tell you nothing, right? Nobody can tell you nothing. You're a learning machine, right? And that is what we think. That is what we think in our 20s. And then in our 40s, we realize we had the wrong plan. We had the wrong plan, right? We don't know as much as we thought we knew because we start to expand our horizons if we're lucky and get around other people who show us that what we thought we knew, we did not even know some of the things that we didn't even know. And that is how it goes in life, right? The older you get, the more hopefully you realize that you don't know as much as you think you know. And so comes the quest of constantly beginning to grow to create the life that you want, right? You need to constantly grow to create the life that you want. And and I tell people this all the time. You need to constantly grow to create the life that you want, or you are going to live a life of quiet desperation. And that quiet desperation is you wanting to be something, but never ever wanting to leave your comfort zone to reach out to take the chance to become that something. And that is a miserable place to be, guys. That quiet desperation is you crying out, to your ego to tell it, hey, set me free. Let me go ahead and try to be someone different. Let me step out of this cage. Let me step out of my comfort zone. Let me try to grow to be the person that I've written out that I want my goals to be, to achieve, to happen in my life later on in the future. So being yourself is not good enough, and we know this now, guys. And I hope that you guys understand that being yourself is different, okay, than having your own style and your own personality and your own I don't know, your whatever it is, guys. Being yourself is complicated, is what I'm saying, right? And you have to give up who you are right now in order to achieve the goals that you want for the future. But in order to do that, number one, you got to know yourself, and number two, you got to know who you want to become, right? And I'm not saying become another person. I'm saying become another you. So that is the work you must put in order to create the life that you want. So that was one of the first questions that my mentor told me when it came to me trying to figure out my goals and how I wanted to move forward in life and how I needed to create the life that I want, right? He said, number one, you need to know yourself, right? You need to know yourself. Take time, 15 minutes a day to know yourself. Number two, he told me to make sure that I figure out who I want to become. Not a person, not a specific person, but that individual in the future who holds all of the goals that you want to have in your life. The goals that right now you think are important. That maybe on in your life, that future guy doesn't think those same goals are important. You see how the change takes place? Right? When I was younger and in my 20s, I wanted a nice car, right? Fancy car to impress people. In my 50s, that doesn't matter anymore. Right? That is not important. In my 50s, what I want is good education for my children and to build a legacy. So you see how our values change over time? right? So that person in my 20s thought he all had it all figured out as far as what he wanted the goals to be, and he was working toward that. They were all money goals. They were all flashy goals to impress people and make people look at me a certain way. And in my 50s, my don't give a shit muscle has grown so strong that what people think about the car that I drive no longer matters, guys. It no longer matters because I know that the car that I drive is not going to move my life forward. I mean, sure, it is okay to have nice cars. It is okay to have nice clothes and live in a lovely home, right? But those things come after you become the person, right, that you need to become in order to achieve some of the things that you want. So it's not the things that you have, it's the person you become along the way. And if you achieve all those things and you don't like the person that you become along the way, then you have failed yourself as a human being, guys. You have failed yourself as a human being. And so you have to learn how to move beyond that, right? And reverse engineer the type of life that you would like to have, the type of life that you would enjoy later on, okay, 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And so in doing that, it may take some work, guys. It may take some work. It may take some time. It may take some pain. It may take tons of obstacles along the way. And I'm telling you guys, right? In my journey, tons of obstacles. Tons of mistakes, right? That if I would have plugged into the proper network, I would have far and few in between of those mistakes, and I could have reached where I am today a lot faster. But as I say each and every day, I am grateful for the pain, and I'm grateful for the mistakes and the journey, because what it allows me to do is now become the real me who loves to teach, learn, and help people grow to achieve the life that they want, right? If I wouldn't have had all of those mistakes, I wouldn't have been able to write my book, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life, because I would have had no stories to tell, right? Because I wouldn't have known the pain that you guys feel when you're at a certain point in your life when you have nothing, when you're doing nothing with your life and you don't know why, right? So I'm here to help you get beyond that, right? And that is what my top 25 mistakes is about and will always be about. It'll be about helping the second halfers to create the life that the first halfers create the life that they want on the second half, and also helping the second halfers who just bombed the first half of their life get back on track, because guess what, guys, there's a third half as well. That's right, you second halfers, there's a third half. I know I didn't tell you guys this, it may be a surprise to some of you, but there's also a third half to life, right? So it is not all what you guys have thought that it would be when it's just a first half and a second half, right? There are many phases of life, and right now in the second half it should be a life of contribution, and that is why I'm here teaching, and that is why I'm here doing my daily podcast, and that is why I want you guys to learn to help you to create the life that you want. That second half is about contribution. So in order to be a contributor of people in their lives, you guys have to begin to learn some things. You have to learn some things so that you can teach some things, right? When you learn some things and you teach some things, and then you begin to grow to create the life that you want. That is what second half is about, guys. It's about contribution and helping people grow. So I have one more question that I want to give you guys that my mentor told me, and this one was made me think, right? This one made me think a whole lot when it came to my life, what I was doing, and how I could create the life that you want. And he told me, right? He said, do you think you can continually fail to grow mentally, right? Think about this, guys, and emotionally in your relationships